But the sin issue isn't that issue. It's an issue. It's a problem. It's not the problem. The problem that the cross actually solves is disconnection. Through the cross, the sin issue's dealt with. Jesus took all that sin and shame on him and pain. And so for us, because of the cross, we get to reconnect to the Father, which you all have, and we want deeper connection with him, but we get to reconnect to the Father. But what we're discovering here in Finding Home, and by the way, Finding Home was always about finding the home within. What we're discovering here in Finding Home is that he's pouring his love into our heart to awaken. So in that moment that you were conceived, that very moment that you were conceived, when Jesus died on the cross for you, his intention was to bring us back to the original version of you that was created in the image and likeness of God, the part of you that was woven together in the depths of the earth when God saw you, and his eyes saw your unformed body. And his intention, he so believes in what he's created, and he's so intent in revealing himself to the earth through his creation, that he's sent Jesus to die on the cross for us, to reconnect us to the Father, the source of our identity, so that we can live out the expression of that DNA that he has created in us. How does that sound? And so recently I discovered, we are definitely not doing Elijah. Recently I discovered the field of epigenetics, and I don't really know much about it, but I can tell you this. Epigenetics, the word genetic is there. So you and I, our DNA code was written like all this lines of code, like computer code. There's 3.167 billion lines of code in your DNA, in every cell. Isn't that mind-blowing? And within your code, there's clumps of the code drawn together into what they call genes. So that's big chunks of the code are put together, and so part of the genetic expression is, so all the codes in there, like the shape of your nose is in your genetic code, okay? And so your lungs are in the genetic code. It's absolutely mind-blowing. And so what happens is there's this thing called genetic expression, and genetic expression is like what part is when the clump of coding, the clump that's clumped together into a gene, is switched on. So your genes can be switched on and switched off. And so the question isn't, here's something really, 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 really amazing. This is what epigenetics is about. If you change the environments of humans for an extended period, their genes, genetics will express differently. So all the code's there, but it might not necessarily express itself. And when I talk about genetic expression again, it's like switching on the light. And so genetic expression is like switching on a light. And interestingly enough, the cable fell out, right? So the light wouldn't come on. In environments where we feel unsafe, it inhibits the expression of our genetic code. In a safe environment, it allows your genetic code to express itself. If it's not safe enough, your genes, their specific parts of the genetic code won't switch on. And so you're made in his likeness and image, and one of the things that we need in our life is safe environments, because what that creates is it allows our system to actually calm down, to not be on such high alert and vigilance, which I learned in my family of origin. And as we come into this increased place of safety, as we come into environments with increased safety, it allows us to express ourselves personality-wise. When you're in safe environments, you can be yourself, right? You can be yourself more. But it actually works at a genetic level as well. Isn't that absolutely mind-blowing? Double thumbs up from Pi V. And so the cross becomes about, yes, dealing with the sin issue, always dealing with the sin issue. But let me tell you, that's just that's just the beginning game. That is not the end game. And yes, I continue to have sin in my life, and probably less, but I still need to process that and work through that. And that's why my cross is so grubby. It's really grubby, like literally, because my hand, like I do this. I'm talking to the Lord sometimes, and I'm putting stuff into the cross, By the way, it's not just our personal sin. You find that how others have sinned against you can affect you far more than your own personal stuff. And so sometimes it's the sin of others I need to put into the cross. But you know what? I don't live here. I flippin' love it. Me and the cross, we have a love affair. I love it, but I don't live here. I love what it has the capacity to do. But his intention, Jesus' intention, is to return us to the Father, and yes, and to have a relationship with him. His intention is to bring us into relationship with the Father and encounter the safety that's there. Who's found life more safe with the Father himself? And so in this safer environment that he provides for us, that's why when the love of the Father's presence, we experience healing. Yes, his presence is healing in itself, but what his presence does is it makes it safe enough for us to, explore our hearts, safe enough for our hearts to express pain. I grew up in an unsafe house that if I experienced being hurt by someone, I wasn't allowed to express the emotions around being hurt. Like, maybe you've been told that. Big boys don't cry, stop being a sissy. In my house, I even got stop crying or I'll give you a reason, like, I won't tell you that part. So as we come into the safer environment with the Father, what is automatically going to happen is that our genetic code will start to find safety to express itself. And that allows us to give expression to our personality. So there's this scientific thing happening, but on a personal experiential level, we find when we're in environments where the love of the Father, where our hearts can experience the love of the Father. That might be online here on Zoom. It might be, when we're together. But when we're in environments that do that, it allows our person and our personality to come out. And since moving here, which in July 1st will be 3 years, the Lord showed me some months ago that he's brought me into a place of creative isolation, because it's actually really safe here. And I'm really, I actually have a lot of time alone. Nikki will go out to work. I have a lot of time on the beach, or I'm in here, but it's just really safe. And I haven't got the public life I used to have. I don't travel the world like I used to. Obviously I will soon, but it's created a really safe environment for me to increasingly become who I am, the original version. When I was woven together in the depth of the earth, and as I saw my unformed body, the one that says in Jeremiah, before you were born, I knew you. When the revelation of the Father's love begins to break through, and we begin to relate to him heart to heart, often a confusion begins. Our mind and our nervous system have been formed on a diet interlaced with original sin, and we've been conditioned by it. So while the heart begins to awaken to something true, the mind and the nervous system can resist it, fight it, or even interpret it as unsafe. It's new territory. It can feel exciting, but it can also feel uncertain, unfamiliar, and even dangerous. And so the journey we're on, as Mark said it so well, the inner world can become bigger than your outside world. The journey we're on is we like ourselves more than we care about what the people around us like and dislike about us. Again, that's the journey we're on. And this is where I believe you're going, Debbie, is it's okay to like yourself. It's okay to like yourself more than other people around you like you. And so the locus because we're all needing validation and we all need to know we're okay. And especially when we're on a journey of discovery of who we are and, we're rediscovering who we are and things are being rewritten, it's like we need something to anchor us. And what I'm finding is that the intention of his love, like the outworking of his love, I don't know about the intention of his love, is that he loves us to the extent where we can start to love ourselves like he does. And in part of that, when we start to like ourselves like he likes us, I don't know if you know God actually likes you too. So, which just shows it's not his duty. It might be it's he's not duty bound to love you. He actually likes you. When we've got this internal world where love has come and defined us, increasingly we become more at peace with ourselves. And I can tell you, I like myself these days. I love myself these. I had an experience a couple of years ago that was sort of the catalyst for that. But what I've found, even when people tell me nice things these days, this is what I think in my head. It's probably more important that I think that about myself than you do. I'm not shunning what they're saying. Anyway, I think I've talked too much. But here's the thing. I hope you like my teaching on Elijah. Oh, that's right, I didn't do it. Here's the thing. I'm talking about creation of you being created in his identity and likeness, and that he's pouring his love into our heart to bring out who we are. Those are simple words that describe a very complex process that we're in the midst of. Joel's response was he recognized there's words around his creation that said he was a mistake. That was his response. Mark's recognizing things about himself and recognizing he's on a journey where his inner world can become bigger than his outside world. Recognizing, mum wasn't safe. Debbie's realizing that behaviors that she's grown up with to keep her safe, they don't serve her well anymore. And so this good news produces all kinds of responses in our hearts and reactions. We see things differently. Some of it, our heart goes, oh, that's really good. Other parts is like, oh, that's really hard. And others like, I'm not quite sure about this, something, and all of those are valid responses. I think the opportunity that is in front of us right now is that it's super important that we articulate, like Debbie, Mark, Joel articulated things with us today for the first time. And they were received in an environment that honors them, encourages it, and allows for more reflection on that. You notice no rescuing went on, didn't tie it up all in a bow and say, just believe God. It's like, yes, we're on a journey. What's landed with you today? What's resonated with you today? Or what's uncomfortable? What's resisting today? Let's just take a few moments, but let's just take a few moments before God, just to think about, just to feel about. We don't have to think about things. We can feel our way into things. What's come up within me today? What's come up within you today? What's landed for you today? What's provoked? What feels uncomfortable? And maybe it's both, hope and sort of disappointment. Like, we just take some time. Father, thank you for the work you're doing in our hearts and lives. We haven't really realized what a great work you're doing, but you've begun a good work in us to return us to the original version, that we can live from that original design and be the most authentic versions and natural versions of us possible. And we're on that journey. And what is this part of the journey, Father, for us? And Holy Spirit, I thank you. You are the one that opens the eyes, ears, and understanding of our heart.